It's a great honor and a privilege to introduce Hadassa and Clila. We're here in this magnificent museum. It's not only a museum, but this is where your father, where he worked, where he did such incredible things. Both your parents were Joseph and Rebecca Bauer, were Holocaust survivors, but more than that, they saved other Jews in the Shoah.
Right.
And it is such an honor and a privilege to be here with you both. So if you could tell us a little bit about the most remarkable couple, your parents.
Okay. So our parents, they met inside Plaszow concentration camp. And if someone doesn't know, Plaszow is the camp that Steven Spielberg in the movie Schindler's List is it's being filmed in the camp. But of course the camp today doesn't exist, there's nothing there. And Steven Spielberg was able to build the camp thanks to the map that our father drew inside the camp. And actually I want to show it to you in the book. Maybe I will bring the book. Yeah. In English, do you have the book in English? Yeah. And actually we are here in the museum that used to be our father's studio. It's a Joseph Bauhaus and in Tel Aviv. And this is the book our father wrote, Dear God, Have You Ever Gone Hungry? And the whole book is also full of paintings that he drew there in the camp. And here I want to show you, this is the map of the camp that he drew while being in the camp. And this is the only proof that there was a camp. And our parents met inside the camp. Our father got dressed as a woman, smuggled himself into the women's camp, and that's how they got married secretly. The wedding is shown in the movie Schindler's List. Of course, there are actors who portray them, but it's about them. And our father saved, in the beginning it was hundreds, and then it turned into thousands of Jews by forging documents for them. He was an artist who managed to study 1 year of art before the war broke out, and the art saved him. And thanks to that, he saved many people because he forged documents for them and they managed to escape and run away.
Where was he born?
He was born in Krakow in 1920.
In
Poland. And he managed to study art 1 year before the war broke out. Now when they took him to the ghetto Krakow, he did something that till today we are surprised. He took with him the artistic case which his parents bought him for school, and inside he put his art supplies, like it was the pencils and the calligraphy pens and everything, but he did something unbelievable. Underneath he made a hiding place, like a secret compartment, and there he hid pictures of his family, of his important documents. How did he think about it? How did he think? Like, he didn't know where he would be taken. And all the family was murdered, and we have pictures and documents till today. Not many people have it. And he also took with him something that we ask people, do you know what, but no one can think about it. He took with him the drafting table which his parents bought him for school, and on that table he managed to make all the documents and save all those people, and this is the table. He found it after the war. And And he, when he found it, he said, I picked it like a baby and I worked on it all my life. So in the ghetto, when he came to the ghetto, the Nazis looked for someone who knew to write in Gothic letters, and he was the only one. So the art saved his life.
Wow.
So he worked for the German police, for the Jewish police, and for the underground. And after he saved hundreds and hundreds of people, the underground came to him and said, Józek is like Joseph in Polish, you saved so many people, it's time you save yourself, make for yourself a document and run away. He said, looked at them as if he didn't even understand the question. Tell me, but if I run away, who will save the others? And stayed till the last day. He could have saved himself, but he didn't, because people were more important for him than himself.
It's incredible, absolutely incredible.
And then, when they transferred him and his family, except his younger brother that they murdered already, to Plaszow concentration camp, also there he worked as a draftsman. Also there he saved a lot of people, and there they met secretly, like I said before, and they got married. And
could you speak a little bit how they got married, how he disguised himself? It's the most amazing story.
When he drew the map of the camp that I showed you before, the commandant told him that he wanted him to make a blueprint out of the map. Now, today, if you want to make, now in Polish and in Hebrew you don't say blueprint, you call it sunprint. The reason is that you do the copy with the help of the sun. Today, when you want to make a copy of a pen, you put in the machine, zoom, you get the copy out. But then, it wasn't like that. You had to put the map on top of a wooden frame. Underneath, you put the special paper that was sensitive to sun rays. You had to, wait, I'll put it here. You had to put it outside in the sun. And then the sun made the copy. And then you had to take down this paper and develop it in ammonia. And when the commandant told him to make the copy, like the sun copy, like in Polish and in Hebrew, he looked out the window and didn't see any sun. And with a lot of fear, he told him, but there is no sun today. How can I make it? Maybe tomorrow. He said to him, I don't care about the sun. You have to know it's or a copy or a bullet in your head. So he knew he didn't have a choice, so he put the drawing, underneath he put the special paper, and he went outside and waited and waited, and the sun didn't come out, and he didn't know what to do. He aimed it at the sky, waiting for the sun to come out. Didn't come out. All of a sudden, a young, beautiful woman, also in striped uniform, just like him, walked by, saw him standing like this. She came to him and said, "Excuse me, sir, what are you doing?" Later she told him she thought he was signaling to American airplanes.
Wow.
And he looked at her and said, "You know what? I'm waiting for the sun, but today the sun doesn't want to come to me. Maybe you can substitute her place." And he aimed the frame at her. So she blushed and walked away. And he said, "Okay, the sun didn't come out, he will kill me. But I will try to develop it. What will happen, will happen." He went to the office, took down the paper, put it in the developing chemical, and to his surprise, the copy came out. He said, "Wow, so she was my son." And that's how it was. That's how they met. And later, he told her, "You know what, let's get married." Like after, I don't know, a few, maybe 2 months or so, we don't know, a very short time. She said, married in the concentration camp? You must be, now I know you're crazy. So he said to her, tell me, who promises us that we are going to be alive tomorrow? You are right. And they decided to get married. So he didn't eat his tiny little piece of bread that they gave them, tiny little one. And for that he bought from someone a silver teaspoon. And then again he didn't eat this tiny little bread, and he gave it to a jeweler who made for it secretly. He made for me 2 rings, and he gave it to his mom, and that's how they got married secretly. Of course, in the movie Schindler's List, they show a couple getting married, so those are our parents, yeah. But they show a chuppah.
There wasn't.
Of course, there was no chuppah, no nothing. So
but he put on a scarf in order that he could go into the
scarf, like the women, and they quietly smuggled him into the women's camp.
And where was your mother born?
Our mother was born in.
Our mom was born in Budiuf. This is a very, very small place. This is near Zbarash and Tarnopol. Maybe not so close, but that's what we know.
Today it's Ukraine, but then it used to be Poland.
Yeah. And her father was a doctor, and he was naturopath and also veterinarian. And all the family, they were doctors and
pharmacists.
My English is
no dentist, but
no dentist. But our father paint dentist.
I'll see the painting.
And so our mom wanted also to be a doctor, but they didn't allow her because she was Jewish. She wanted in 1938 to begin, so she studied beautician, chemistry, and
to be a nurse.
And
nursing.
Naturopath also she was, and nursing, because she was a woman only to help, only to help. This is a woman that she didn't know what is to be afraid from anything, always. She was strong, like
very brave. Big
hero. We saw it every day, how she behaved to everything. She was so gentle. But if she need to help or something, suddenly she was so strong. She is really superwoman. Really.
Right, and our father Superman.
Yeah, superwoman and Superman, they met and they were together all their life. Super life. Super couple.
Yeah.
But your mother did something very special. She saved your father.
Right. She, because she was a beautician and she knew how to do pedicure and manicure. Now, in the movie Schindler's List, they show a woman who is making manicure to the commandant, and this was our mom. And she knew 9 languages, and she knew German, and she understood what he is planning. And when she returned to her barrack, she told all the women there what he's going to do on the next day. And this way she saved also hundreds of people.
And the commandant, the name?
Amon Get, who is very famous for his cruelty.
Infamous, yeah.
And then he started suspecting that someone is telling everything, and he came to the conclusion that it can be only Rebecca. And he punished her in a horrible, horrible way. She thought she won't survive. And she was sure that after that he won't call her again, but he kept on calling her. After all day she worked hard labor, at night she had to come and give him a manicure. And then she heard that they are going to make a list of people who will be transferred into Schindler's camp. So she went to one of the men who made the list, and she said to him like that, you know, you owe me because I saved your mom. And he said, right, she told me. And he wrote our mom's name on the list. And our mom said, listen, I'm not afraid. I know I will survive. Please save my husband. You know, I have goosebumps when I tell it. We told it maybe more than 1,000 times, and I get excited every time because they knew each other just for such a short time. And she wanted to save him, our father. So they erased her name and they put our father's name on the list, and she was sent to Auschwitz. And then she was sent to another camp. And she didn't tell him for 50 years that she's the one who saved him. And when she blurted it, like she just by mistake said it, he looked at her. First of all, she was flabbergasted. And he said, how come you never told me that you are the one who saved me? Because I was wondering all the time how come I got on the list. So she said to him, because I didn't want you to feel that you owe me anything, because I did it from love. And after the war, he found her in a miraculous way, and they returned to Krakow.
And can I just ask, your mother, when she was in Auschwitz, she also had dealings with Mengele.
Yeah.
Did she speak to you about it, or how did you know about it?
We know, look, this is very important also to say. Our parents were talking about the Holocaust every day. And
not only to us, to all the people.
And our father wrote his book first in Hebrew, then in Polish, then it was translated to English and to Spanish and to Chinese and many.
Now to Russia and to Arabic. We want to publish.
And to Dutch.
And to Dutch was published yet. Now.
Already. Yeah. And we already have it translated to Russian and to Arabic, which is very important, but we don't have the money to publish it yet. When he wrote the book, and when they were talking about the Holocaust every day, but always they knew how to tell it in such a way that it wasn't scary. Because
they were laughing all the time. They told, listen, what happened to us, what miracles, everything they saw in the positive, with the miracles, yeah. And he wrote the book in humor, like in black humor, but in humor. And people said, first of all, why do you write the book? No one will be interested reading it. And second, how dare you write in humor? And he said, listen, this is our duty to write and tell about the Holocaust, because what will happen in 50 years when people will say, nothing, there was no Holocaust. And he was right.
He was a visionary.
Exactly.
He was a visionary.
Yeah, he was.
Like a Navi, like a prophet.
He was Navi.
In many things.
In many things.
Yeah. Not only in that. But he forced people, he said, I will publish your book, because he had his own publishing house. Just write. We have to write. We have to talk. They were encouraging people to talk because people didn't want to talk about the Holocaust.
And even not to talk, people laugh at them all the time, so they didn't want to tell.
No, tell what you saw when you were 3 years old.
Yeah.
Hadassa, you were actually born in Krakow.
I'm in Krakow in 1947, and when our parents came to Israel, I was a little girl, 3.5 years. So I saw that our mom came to a group of women, and she began to tell what happened to them, and they were standing like, Who care about all the stupid things? And when we went, and suddenly I looked back, I saw that they laughing and they make like that on our mom, that she is crazy, what she is talking about, nonsense. And always, many, even today, ask people enough to talk about that.
But
Even there are people the one day in the year that they are talking, who need that?
like the Holocaust Day, and that's it.
We need to talk about this one a week at least, all the year around. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very...
6 million Jews. That's what our father said all the time.
And he used to go to schools and give testimonies when people didn't. And they went to be a witness in many trials when Nazis were caught.
Yeah.
Many didn't want to go. Most of the people.
Most of us.
But they went. They said it's our duty. They went to our mom went to 6 trials. And we were even against it, because our father got a heart attack in one of the trials because he was testifying against a Nazi who killed his father, and in front of his eyes. And then when they came back and he was very sick afterwards, we told them, we don't allow you to go anymore. So our mom said, sorry, I have to keep on doing it because I have to revenge all the people who were murdered in the Holocaust. And we said, Mom, we won't take you to the airport. She said, that's okay, there are taxis. And she was going. She kept on going, even though we were against it. So she saved a lot of people. And she wrote diaries. Now, what's very interesting is that what's very interesting is that she wrote the diaries in secret. She even writes in the diaries, my daughters are coming back from school, I have to close the diary. And we didn't know about it. And in the diary, she wrote how she saved our father, how she saved many people. You see, what's very interesting, they were talking about the Holocaust, but they didn't tell us how they saved all the people. And when we found out, when we asked them, they said, shh, don't talk about it. We had to do it and we don't talk about it. So they saved so many people, but they didn't want to talk about it.
They must have been exceptionally modest, very modest.
Oh, yeah. One day, many Jews from the States, every year they came from Krakow Society. And many of them came to our father and said they couldn't talk about it. So one of them came to me and said, you know that your father doesn't want to talk about, but I will tell you, I am here because of him. So I came to my father, why did he say that he is here because of you? Never I saw my father so nervous. Shut up!
Means quiet.
Quiet! I was so scared. I make my father nervous. I didn't ask. And many came and told that they didn't say he saved my life. I am here because of him. And you know what, if we knew all that, so we could make a big event that they saved Jews, but they didn't tell, nothing.
Not only they didn't want to talk about it.
No, I know that if we would make a special, they wouldn't come.
Our parents.
Our parents, they wouldn't come to this event. No.
And in our mom's diaries, we gave it to translation, and when we read it, we almost fainted because she wrote how she saved so many people, and in the diaries, she wrote how she saved our father. And she said, one day when my diaries will be translated, Yuzek and the kids will know that I saved him. And in the concentration camp, our father wrote, he had many ways of saving, not only by forging documents, also by humor. He was telling jokes all the time. We have those jokes that he wrote in the camp. And he hid it in this case that he had. It's artistic case that I was telling you about before. And he also wrote, he made playing cards that helped save a lot of Jews. And he also wrote poems. Now he didn't have a paper, so he wrote the poems on cigarette butts that the Nazis threw. And he also kept it in this case. And actually they took the case away from him, and Oskar Schindler found it and brought it to him. And we also gave it to translation, and we said, what strong and beautiful poems, because he doesn't write about things that what he's going through. He's writing about love, about hope. One poem is about, he calls it a prayer. I only remember like 2 lines. He said, God, even though you put in front of me so many obstacles, I still bless you. Like he is in the Holocaust. They just killed his father in front of his eyes, and he's telling God, I'm blessing you. We don't know from where he had this strength. And he was reading those poems to people, and they said it kept them alive. And we decided to translate it, and we gave it to a translator who translated it. And look what we did. We made a case that resembles the case our father had. Here we put the painting that he painted. He said, I am half and mom is half, only when we are together we are one. And that's how they were all their lives. Now when you open it, you see our mom's diaries. And this is our father's poem book. Together it's one picture that our father was also a photographer. He was an artist and the first animator in Israel. And he built the smallest movie theater in the world. And he was an author, and he was a poet, and he was a publisher, and he was a philosopher.
Of love, happiness, and laughter.
And I can go on and on and on. He was really multi-talented. He was, I don't know.
Advertising.
Yeah, an advertisement. And he was a copywriter. And listen, he was
and he was a very good father.
Oh,
the best that can be. אני חותמת, איך אומרים?
You give the stamp.
Yeah, the best ever.
Yeah.
And our mom, the best ever.
Yeah. And so we said like this, if someone will take our father's book in his hand, he won't understand how he wrote it in the camp. So look what we did. Each book is independent by itself. This is our mom's diaries, which is very, very important book. And this is our father's poem book. And look what we did. Underneath, we hid the exact copy of the poem book that he wrote inside the concentration camp. And look, because we wanted the reader to understand, look, what a tiny, tiny, tiny handwrite and paintings.
And this he did in the camps?
Yeah. This is unbelievable. And so much humor! And so much...
אולי תביאי לו גם שיר בתרגום לאנגלית, יש כמה.
So can I just ask, your mom in her diary, did she speak about what she did with Mengele in Auschwitz and how she survived Auschwitz?
Yeah. There was she was a very brave woman. She had no fear. We don't. Sometimes we couldn't understand her, how she was so strong. Even here in Israel, she did things that you won't believe. So she was in Auschwitz, and when she just came, there was how do you call it? I forget. Was Mengele that they had to stand in selection, and they were standing naked in the snow, and he just looked at them and said like this or like that, like this or like this, and he pointed to one side, and where she went, she saw that she is among sick people, so she understood that it's death. So she ran out and came back to the line. We saw her the next time. Again, she ran out, came. The third time, he recognized her and said, "What are you doing here?" I sent you to the left. So she opened her mouth and said, "How come you are sending me to die? I'm young and I'm strong and I can work." So the Nazis that were around him, they wanted to kill her because how dare she yell at Mengele?
But she knew German. She knew 9 languages, so she was talking in German. The Jewish people didn't know German. So this would help her also.
But then the Nazis there, they wanted to kill her. How dare she talk to him like this? So he said like this, 1 minute, I want to hear what this woman has to tell me. And she said, "Why did you send me to die?" And he said, "Because you have a pimple or whatever on your breast." They were naked. "So it means you are sick." And she said, "No, I got my period." "You are lying. I gave all the women something that they won't have their period, and you are lying." And she says, "No, I just came here. I didn't get anything." So he said, "You are lying." And he told the Polish woman, like a Nazi, he told her, "Check her." So she took a piece of cloth and she checked her, and how our mom wrote, "A drop of blood saved me."
Wow.
And he left her.
And this actually big miracle, because if not that, Lila and I, we weren't alive today. Because all her girls, they couldn't bring kids. Because
all her friends.
that they had...
they were Mengele,
איך אומרים? הוא הרס להם את הווסת.
He sterilized them.
And he ruined their period and everything.
Yeah. So they
and they never had children.
No one of her girlfriends from Auschwitz, maybe 1 or 2, they didn't have kids.
And then then again she came for another selection, and again snow and cold, and they're naked, and there was a girl, and a Nazi was beating her up terribly, the girl, and she was bleeding from her thigh horribly, and her mother was screaming, "Help, help," because she knew if Mengele will see the girl with blood, immediately he will send her to death. And our mom was a nurse, and she had this urge of saving people, and she had no fear. So she saw this Polish woman who checked her the previous time. She said, "Give me a piece of cloth." She took the piece of cloth, she put it in the snow, she cleaned all the blood from the girl's thigh, she tied it, she knew how to tie it so she should stop bleeding, and she told the mother, "You know what? Let your girl stand between us. He's sitting behind the desk, so maybe he won't see her leg." And that's how they were walking with her, and that's how she saved her. And she wrote about it, but she didn't know her name or anything. And one day we were, how was it? Our parents every year they went to a reunion Plaszow, of Oskar Schindler, of Auschwitz, Lichtenwerden, wherever they were. And one day our mom, they come back from the reunion, and our mom is so excited. And we said, Mom, what happened? She said, you won't believe, I'm sitting with Dad. And suddenly a woman comes to me. She looks at me and says, Mommy, Mommy. And I look at her and I said, oh my God, I don't know this woman. My daddy will think that I had a baby outside of our wedding. Whoa. And she said, I don't know you, I'm not your mom. I don't know what you're talking about. She said, no, you are not my real mom. But I am the little girl who you saved in Auschwitz. And I've been looking for you for all those years. And our mom came back. She was speechless.
Up to now, we didn't find after that.
The woman.
Yeah. Up to now, we don't know her name.
So how did your mother manage to survive Auschwitz? How did she?
Because she had this thing of courage, and also because she wasn't afraid to talk to people.
She came to Amon Gate, and every time to make him manicure, and Amon Gate taught his dogs. He had 2 dogs, Alf and Ralph, and he told them to eat Jewish people.
He enjoyed watching how they're tearing the people and eating them.
So to the woman to begin here in
her breast,
and men here.
He trained them like that.
Yeah. And one day our mom comes there and he said to the dogs, eat her. And the dog jumped on her and he began here. All her life she had here scar. And but our mom, she knew 9 languages. She knew 8 languages and 1 language.
No, she knew 9 and 10.
Yeah.
And the 10th language was to speak to animals.
Yeah, to speak to animals. And she told us also, when you talk to animals, look to her eyes. So she will take the eyes down. And she was talking to the dog and said in German, good dog, and he left her.
What a miracle.
So this is one, like showing you how brave she was. But you ask us how she managed to get out of Auschwitz. She saw a group of women standing, and she said, what's going on? So they said, they are looking for women who know how to pick cotton. Now, to pick cotton from the field, it's very, very hard because it cuts your fingers. And our mom grew in a village. She didn't know how to pick cotton, but she said, I know how to pick cotton. So they put her in the group. Like everything they asked, always, I know.
Secretary, how she was.
Like when she, also in Plaszow, they asked, who knows here how to type on a German typewriter? She didn't know. She knew German, but I know. So they took her. Like everything. And this is also what our parents taught us. Always, you should always say, you know.
Our father's the same.
Yeah. And then you will learn. So I remember when we lived in Canada, and I was going to look for a job. It was very difficult to get a job then. My husband was a student. So I went to one office and they told me, do you know statistics? I learned architecture, but I didn't remember already. So, but I remember what my father told me, always say you know. So yes, I know. And immediately in the evening I came to the home and I called my parents. I said, Dad, you told me I have to say I know, but I don't know. What shall I do? So they looked and they found all the material for school, my notebooks, my books, and they shipped it to me. I'm sure they didn't go out for a month. It cost them so much money because they sent it express. So my father said, it's okay you said it, now sit and learn. and from all your notebooks. But in the end, I didn't get the job. But that's how they were, always. I know. So that's how she was sent from Auschwitz to Lichtenberg.
Miracles, listen, all what they were through. So,
Yeah.
And that really saved her life by being taken out of Auschwitz.
Yeah.
And your father, by your mother putting his name on the Schindler list, so he was with Oskar Schindler.
Yeah, and listen to that. He is like in Hebrew you say Yad Yemin Shelo, like his right hand. You say it in English.
Right hand man.
Say it.
Right hand man.
Yeah, right. Okay. So whatever he needed in forging, whatever he needed to forge, to get food, to get this, anything, our father did it for him.
So he had a personal connection with Oskar Schindler.
Yeah, always he came here and said, "Where is my son? Where is my son?"
Yeah, he loved him, and he called us. He said, "I'm your grandfather," because he didn't have kids and we didn't have any grandfather. So for us, he was our grandfather. But our father was for him
Everything.
Yeah, and our father helped him save the Jews. Because he heard he heard that the commandant of this camp, what was his name? Leipold is going to kill all of them, 1,200 Jews.
Last night before the end of the war.
Yeah. So first of all, he told our father, forge a telegram. And as if that they call you from Berlin to come immediately, I will sit in the room with this Leipold, with the commandant. And when I put my head down, you run inside with the telegram and you say, this telegram has just arrived from Berlin. And then it will say that they are calling him immediately to come so he won't be able to kill all the Jews. And this is what our father did, but when he came in, but Leipold didn't believe and didn't because not that he didn't believe, he still wanted to kill the Jews because he got he got an order from Berlin to kill all the Jews.
1,200 and היה חור.
He made already a hole.
הפסיד היה כבר, הפסיד.
Yeah, mortar, I think you call it. I'm not sure. He filled it already, and there he wanted to put all the Jews and kill them. And then on the next day, when our father got up in the morning, he sees this big hole and he asked the men, what's going on here? And they said, we don't know. And then Oskar Schindler saw our father and he had a basket with a bottle of wine and he gave it to our father because he always trusted him. And what did he tell him? Do you know how to say it in German? Daimu Teschine, which means he spoke to him in Czech, but
in Czech, but this is like Polish. Close.
Give him this urine, but it was like a bottle of wine. So
the best wine that can be.
So and he went give him like with his head. Yeah. So our father understood it's Leipold. The commandant was sitting there. So he went up to him and he said, Herr Schindler
hat das geschickt.
Schindler sent it to you. And he took the bottle of wine and he fainted. Schindler put there something so he will pass away. And he didn't, and then the war ended and he didn't have the time to give the order to kill all those people.
So our father saved all.
Otherwise, all those on Schindler's list would have been killed.
Yeah. If not that,
sure. Yeah, and then they escaped, the Nazis. So they took him like he was unconscious. They put him in the car and they escaped. But thanks to our Schindler and our father,
they did everything together.
Yeah.
And when Schindler came to Israel, he came to visit your home often?
This was our father's studio from 1960. And he came here all the time, and our father even painted him. He said, you paint me now. And he painted it.
We have original paintings.
And our father was the photographer of every time he came here.
Every time before he came, he found like one day, even not one day before, tomorrow or in 2 days I'm coming, only the name of the flight and the hour, and he closed the phone. Our father gave us the list of all the people. Immediately we phoned to all of them, because here, Echala Tarbut, so here was all the buses, maybe 10 buses came every time, and all the Jews came here, and when they came back, they came here, and was a big party always.
And your parents in the movie, they, at the end of the movie, the survivors, they put a stone on his grave, which he's buried on Har Zeitim, on the Mount of Olives.
Right. And I want to show you that the last, exactly last year on Holocaust Day, our parents got the award of Jews who saved Jews. So this is the award that our mom got.
And this is from B'nai Brit.
Yeah, B'nai Brit. And this is the award. And
because the hot weather and cold weather, so this we need to hang it on the wall.
And this is the award that our father got.
So it's for Joseph and Rebecca Bauer.
Yeah. And
Jewish Rescue Citation.
Yeah, and they were the only couple that got it.
But only the one that can be, because our mom didn't tell our father that she saved Jews. Our father didn't tell our
mom that he saved
Jews, and they didn't tell us. So actually we didn't know.
Yeah, we found out later.
And Hadassa and Clila, there's another miracle. After your father was liberated, and he goes back to Krakow with the train, can you tell our listeners what happened? That's another incredible miracle what happened. And how he met your mother again.
Yeah, but what I want to say...
This is 20 hours, we need to tell that.
Yeah.
But just with the train, how he got on the train, and it was...
one sec, I just want to show you something. When they returned to Krakow, so our father said to our mom, you know, our first wedding was without a rabbi, without any music or food.
And no cameras, so we couldn't have photos from that.
So why don't we get married again officially with a rabbi, with food and music and everything? And this is the wedding picture from 46. And they wanted to have a picture from the first wedding, but of course there were no cameras. So what did he do? He painted stripes.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. And then he returned to the university, and he became one of the biggest, or maybe the biggest caricaturist in Poland. Yeah. He drew caricatures in 4 newspapers. He was one of the biggest poets. And he was together with Szymborska, who was the biggest poet in Poland, who got a Nobel Prize. When she got the prize, and she was interviewed from all over the world, and an Israeli journalist interviewed her, and asked her, about her prize, and she said, "You are from Israel. Do you know Yuzek Bau? He was a very big poet. Where is he?
He need to receive a Nobel Prize."
Yeah. And and then in 1950, when the communism came to Poland, so they suddenly told him, you cannot paint this, you cannot write this. Suddenly they started telling him this, not this, this, and he told our mom, listen, bad things are happening here, we have to escape. And they escaped in the middle of the night, together with Hadassa, who was 3 years old, and they came to Israel. Even though they got a visa to go to United States. Our father said, anyone wants our visa, we are going home. We want to go home. Because Israel was so important for him. And he loved Israel. And of course, after he passed away, we learned what he did, that he was worked for the Mossad, and he forged documents for the spies, like for Eli Cohen, our spy who was caught in Syria, and also for Eichmann, that was caught in Argentina, and for the whole team that went to catch him. And he was, and this we only found out after he passed away. And actually, all his life, he lived a double life. Also in the Holocaust, because he was forging documents and he had to keep secret.
He was secret man.
Yeah, and also in Israel. So, and this museum that is called Joseph Bauhaus it was a studio. It was it was a cover story for all his activities, and we had no idea. We only found out after he passed away, and that's how come Israel was so important for him too.
And happened to him also, לספר על הבר מצווה.
And we want to show you some maybe. That probably you are wondering.
This is the insignia that you have on your shirts.
Probably people are wondering what it is. So here, our father never signed on his paintings.
Here in Israel.
Yeah, in Poland he signed like huge BAU, and in Israel nothing. And our mom was very mad. How come you are not signing your name? And so he invented some tiny, in all his paintings you see tiny logo like this. And we knew what it meant, but we never asked questions. But what does it look like? What do you think it looks like? People say like a duck, like a penguin, like a snake. Everyone says something else. But when you turn it on its side, in Hebrew it says here, Bao.
Wow.
Bet.
This is our father.
It's amazing.
איך אומרים קסם?
It's his magic. His magic.
We think that our father was Kusem.
He was a magician.
He was a real magician.
A magician, a prophet. He saw many
איך אומרים clown? איך אומרים?
A clown.
He knew the heart of the people. He knew how to come to them. He knew how to reach.
Yeah.
To bring them back to life. Because many wanted to make suicide. סיפרת את זה?
Yeah.
And so, but he put it like that. So this is what we are wearing. And
magnificent. Wow.
Yeah.
So if you will
Just
see,
want to, this is something unbelievable.
if you will see painting without name, and you will see the sign, so you will know this Joseph Bau.
I just want to thank you. I'm going to come inside here. Wait, sorry. So I must just mention to both Hadassa and Clila, for me this has been such a great honor and a privilege to hear your story, to see you both smiling, to see the incredible, your parents are unique in this world. There's no one like them.
Right.
And they've instilled in both of you their qualities. Often when I interview people or I ask survivors, what message do you have for the next generation? You are the embodiment. You speaking, you are telling their message.
Right. Exactly.
And it's full of laughter, full of happiness. But to remember the essence and the love for Eretz Israel and the hope, and it's just something unbelievable. I am so honored and privileged to have met you both and to have been in this most incredible museum, which has to stay.
Yeah, and what we would like to add, thank you very much, of course, and what we would like to add, which is very important for us, is that our tiny museum, I think it's maybe the smallest museum in Israel, we have no support from no one. The reason is because to be called a museum, we have to be 200 square meters. We are only 53 square meters, And we are not standing in the criteria of getting a support. Hadassa and I are keeping it all by ourselves.
It's a voluntary, you do it voluntary.
Yeah, and now with the corona, we were closed almost a year, and we lost a lot of money. It cost us a lot of money.
Cost us more than 12,000 each month.
Shekels a month. And this place doesn't belong to us anymore. It used to, but right, it doesn't. And we pay rent and all the expenses around it. And so, first of all, we are in a lot of debt because of what happened. And second, we know that this place is going to be torn down, and they will build something new here, and we won't be able to stay. So we have to find a new place, and we don't have the money, we don't have a place, and we
had 2 places already, and they were here in this area, and build unbelievable building, and they wait 1-2 years, and 3 months here was the bank, and
but we didn't have the money.
What we didn't have, so said I can't wait anymore.
So we are asking people, please, if you can support us. We are a non-profit organization, and if you can support us and help us, and if someone could even help us move to a new place, and we can even call the museum like Joseph and Rebecca Bau's house, and on this person's name.
Sure.
So wonderful.
Yeah. And we need that support for always.
Yeah.
This is not something like.
Can I ask you? I mean, if we can just take a little tour of the museum, so people will know what the most incredible and unique. I mean, here's a picture of your parents, and here's your father smiling with your mother smiling. It is something unbelievable. It's so beautiful. And here's a picture of the table, which you mentioned.
Yeah.
This table, our father saved hundreds of Jews. This table need to talk because he will tell holy things. I tell you, this is unbelievable. That here he saved thousands of.
And here's where your father worked. You can see.
Yeah.
And here's a picture of the family.
Yeah.
But what's amazing about this picture here, you just see how happy your parents were.
Always.
Oh, maybe we will send you the film that in Leil Seder, how our father.
And this is a joke book which our father wrote. This was his last book. He wrote 10 books, but this was his last book. And he always just he said, if we are happy, I want everyone to be happy.
And here we have the smallest cinema.
Yeah. Here.
And that's the original.
Yeah. Here he built the projector all by himself. And here you see they moved the screen. Where he was projecting.
So this is possibly the smallest 35mm movie place in the world. 35mm.
Because he was the first animator in Israel, and he built everything by himself. He found the leg from an X-ray machine. He built this arm, and he made he built the control table, and he made the animation all by himself. He drew it, he wrote the script, to make an animation movies, every second is 24 paintings. To make a movie of 7 minutes, he had more than 10,000 paintings. And then after he also was, he designed the fonts to the Israeli movies. And here you see some of the fonts that he designed.
He loved that people are coming to him. He didn't love to go to restaurants. So all the artists came to him.
directors, and
actors, singers, poets, writers, all day were many.
So beautiful. Look at even this one. Jerusalem, here we come.
Oh, here you see he was a prophet.
He told our mom in the 1950s, you will see that one day all the world will come to Israel. She says, who wants to come to a Jewish land? He said, you will see. And look what he drew. A man that is made from all the flags, and he's holding an Israeli flag, and he said, Jerusalem, here we come.
It's amazing.
And here you see Jerusalem is not allowed to...
Look what he said. This is very, very interesting. And he saw it in the letter so many years ago. He said Jerusalem should never ever be parted, the east from the west. It has to stay one. And he explained why. When you write the word Yerushalayim, you have Yud, the letter Yud here, and the letter Yud here. Yud is Jewish, like Yehudi.
Yeah.
He says, what will happen if, God forbid, if on one side, instead of the Yud, you'll have Gimel. Gimel is like Goy. And then they will put a border here. What will we get? Gerush Layam. Then they will kick us to the sea. Today it became politics, but when he did it, it wasn't.
This was only from the letters.
He was really like a visionary. He was, a prophet. A prophet.
Yeah. And all of that, he writes in his book, Brit Milah, Covenant with the Hebrew language, and he found the logic and the humor in the Hebrew language, and each
250 paintings.
Each word comes with a painting. And
he was prolific. I mean, he was unbelievable.
And he created this table. On this table, light table, he did all his books.
And he forged the documents.
And
so to think that he was instrumental with forging the documents which captured Ahmed.
Yeah.
And also with Eli Cohen.
Yeah.
He was very instrumental in getting the documents when he went to Syria.
And look, and look what he painted here. This is a symbol of love and peace. He only thought about love and peace, always. He said, if the hand is closed like this is violence, this is a war. But when the same hand is open, this is peace. But for peace you need the heart, right? So he added the heart and the dove.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. And many things he did for look at this. This is very interesting. Being a prophet, he told our mom also in the 50s, one country will help Israel. USA.
Wow, look what he did.
Look, Jerusalem, inside is USA, and he merged the two flags together.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And when did he do it? In the 50s.
The day that the UN said that Israel will born again.
And this is one of actually the first paintings that he painted in Tel Aviv
in 1950.
It's very beautiful.
Thanks. And you said being a this is very, very interesting. Look what he drew. A Israeli Magen David. Like you have kibbutz, ocean, fish, cactus, citrus fruit, and even the sun is shish kebab.
It's amazing.
And what did he write?
After 2,000 years of night and night, we became again a country.
And you see the sun shining.
Yeah.
But you know what's also amazing? He merged. As you come into the museum, you have this incredible picture of did your father do the picture of Auschwitz?
Careful. Yeah.
So we have this incredible. So he could combine. I mean, this is the most amazing.
He said that the entrance to the camp was through the gate, and the only exit was through the chimney.
It's so powerful. It's so. And this is the most incredible.
And here you see the paintings from. Here you see the dentist. Here, for example, he said the woman has a necklace with bullets, and in her hand she has a lipstick in the shape of a bullet. Weapons in Hebrew you say neshek, and a kiss you say neshika. He said, I wish that all the neshek, all the weapons will turn into a neshika.
Wow. There's a lot of love in
everything.
Yeah.
And here also a couple that slowly the two had to become one heart.
It's just so amazing. And then you have here, this is I think also one of the most amazing, where we have the saw.
Yeah, like a musician is playing with a saw, and our father called it, in Hebrew it's called mangina masortit, but in English you can't translate it, but like a traditional music. So he said, all the years they are trying to cut our tradition, but we are continuing, and it should be a meser, which is the same root letters like masoret, like tradition, and it should be a message from generation to generation. And this is actually his will.
And this is the museum. Need to stay for always, from generation to generation.
And how can we close such a place? We can't.
You can't.
That's why we must have someone who can help us.
Oh, like this.
This is with the chess.
Yeah, this is very interesting. He said that the Holocaust was like a chess game. One bad move, it was checkmate. And he said, if you look at it carefully, you see that something is wrong in the painting, but at first you don't notice. But after a while, maybe someone will notice that there are only black squares, no white.
There's no white.
So the white cannot play. So, and look where the white are, far away. And who do they represent? The world. Like the world stood aside and did absolutely nothing. So our father always said, the world knew and did nothing. So Hadassa and I, we give lectures all over the world. Before the corona, we traveled a lot. We were even in China and in Russia, and we were in Poland and everywhere. Spain and United States and Canada. And there was a huge exhibition in the Spanish Parliament in Madrid. And there were exhibitions all over, in the UN building in New York, in many places in the world.
It was also in the Knesset.
In the Knesset,
and a lot of the Israeli leaders came to that exhibition.
Yeah. And we always say in the lectures, when we end, please don't be the white who stood aside and did nothing. So this painting has so much meaning.
Everything has so much meaning here.
Here, our father, they caught him that he made one mistake in one of the signs, and they gave him 50 lashes, and the Nazis, and many people didn't survive it. And our father, after they finished beating him up, his friends carried him to his barrack because he couldn't walk, and they put him on his how do you call it, bunk bed, and he started laughing. And they said, how come you're laughing after they beat you up so badly? He said, they caught me with one mistake, but I don't know any German. I make all the time mistakes. Lucky for me that they don't understand what I write. They should have killed me a long time ago. So if they found one mistake and they beat me up, so I'm happy.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And here we have with lechem. I mean, it's just amazing what. And I just want to go. The entrance, you know, it is so modest. Your museum, it is so, but it is so profound. It is so. So here we are in the heart of Tel Aviv, and this is the Joseph Bauer House. And to everybody, it is so strongly recommended. I just want to thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is
We are
incredible.
inviting everyone to come and visit us at the place.
And I think one of the most amazing things is, if you look over here in 2018, TripAdvisor, you were the winner of
We were also 2016 and 2017 for 4 years.
Now also 2020 and 21.
And we were the #1 attraction in Tel Aviv.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It is something unbelievable, and you just have to continue this tradition.
Amen.
You have to,
amen.
you have to.
Amen. Amen. We need help.
Bezrat
We
Hashem.
need help.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
And may all the dreams become reality, and may all what your parents, may their message continue.
Amen. Thank you.